Hey everyone, today we are exploring something beautifully mysterious and incredibly useful, the seven Hermetic principles. It is, I believe, a wisdom for our everyday life. And these come from a body of teachings called Hermeticism, attributed to a sage named Hermes Trismegistus. Think of him as a spiritual philosopher who blended Egyptian and Greek thought. Hermes is also known as Thoth in Egypt, and he is known by several names in different civilizations. But don't worry, this isn't going to feel like a history lesson. I'm going to walk you through each principle and show how you are already using them, even if you didn't know it. So let's jump right in. So, we are diving into the seven Hermetic principles, the timeless teachings that pass down through the lineage of, as I said, Hermes Trismegistus. These principles aren't just old philosophy, they are very much alive. They live in your thoughts, your choices, your emotions, and even in your morning coffee. So, let's begin with a breath. Take a moment and inhale deeply and exhale slowly. Let's walk through each principle, and after each one, I'll invite you into a short meditation or reflection. Ready? The first one is the principle of mentalism. That is, all is mind, the universe is mental. What does that mean? It means that this principle states that everything in the universe originates from a universal mind or consciousness. Reality is shaped by thought and perception. Everything begins in the mind. Thoughts are the architects of reality. So, what you believe, you create. Let me give you some examples. Earlier in one of my videos, I had talked about visualization, and a lot of people do visualization in their goal setting process as a part of their goal setting process. Athletes often use mental imagery to visualize winning a race or achieving peak performance. The mental focus helps bring that reality into existence. You wake up and think today is going to be chaos. And then what happens? Your brain scans for chaos all day. But if you wake up and think, I'll handle whatever comes with grace, you actually do. So your mindset is your lens, it colors the world. So that's in a nutshell. A good summary of this principle of mentalism. All is mind, the universe is mental. Let's take a meditative moment. Gently close your eyes if it feels okay. Place your attention on your thoughts. No judgment, just witness. Now gently ask, what's the dominant thought I've been feeding today? Is this thought building the life I want? Take a breath, let go of what's heavy, and inhale clarity. Exhale all the noise in your head. Yeah, you take that so that you stay grounded and you invite what you really want to create every day. That's what I invite you to do through this reflective exercise. And you don't want me to do this, right? You can always get into this meditative, reflective exercise just to ensure that you are inviting and creating what you really want every day, every moment. Open your eyes when you're ready. The second principle is the principle of correspondence, as above, so below, as within, so without. This principle highlights the mirroring nature of existence. Patterns repeat at different scales from macrocosm, which is the universe, to the microcosm, our individual lives. Patterns repeat at every level, from galaxies to your emotions. Your inner world reflects in your outer world. If you seek peace outside, begin inside. If you want clarity in your relationships, start with how you speak to yourself. Okay, so that's what it means. Let me give you some examples. You know, in a science level, the structure of an atom mirrors the solar system. Many of you know that electrons orbit the nucleus in a manner similar to planets orbiting the sun. Another example, personal growth mirrors external success. So, as I said before, inner peace and self awareness often manifest as harmonious relationships or professional achievements. Have you ever noticed that when you're feeling cluttered inside, your desk mysteriously becomes messy too? Yeah, your calm inner state seem to attract peaceful people. It's all connected. Let's do a quick reflective pause here. Place a hand on your chest. Ask yourself, what is one part of my outer life that feels out of sync? If you don't get any answers right now, you can ask this question at any point in time later too. What is one part of my outer life that feels out of sync? If you know what it is, then what is this showing me about my inner state? Ask yourself. Breathe into that awareness. What is this showing me about my inner state? Breathing into that awareness without blame, just curiosity. And with each breath, gently say, I realign within. The world realigns with me. Yeah, beautiful. Let's go to the third principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. What does that mean? Everything in the universe, from matter to thought, exists in a state of vibration and frequency. Everything is in constant motion. I would have said earlier, everything is energy, and energy doesn't stay still. Emotions, thoughts, and even solid objects have a frequency. Even what seems still is vibrating. A big rock, a mountain, is vibrating. It has a frequency, right? So emotions, sounds, light, everything has a frequency. So when you're feeling low or stuck, your vibration is lower. That's what it means. When you're joyful, loving, or inspired, or you're feeling that beautiful gratitude, you vibrate higher. Let me give you some more examples. Music and emotions. Different types of music can uplift or dampen your mood due to their vibrational frequency. Have you noticed that? And then in manifestation, this is a great example. High frequency emotions like love and gratitude attract positive outcomes, while low frequency emotions like fear or anger draw challenges. You walk into a room and you feel the tension sometimes, even if no one is talking. Yeah, now that's vibration. You feel that vibration. Or you play your favorite song and you feel instantly uplifted. That's you tuning into a higher vibe. So raise your vibe with music, with breath work, or just a good belly laugh. Yeah, ever notice how a simple laugh or a walk in nature or a favorite song lifts you instantly? So that's not just mood, ladies and gentlemen, it's frequency. Okay, so let's do a vibration reset. I would like all of you to just stay still and then let's raise your vibration now. Sit tall, inhale through your nose and exhale through the mouth with a gentle sigh. Inhale and exhale. Visualize light energy filling your body when you inhale, bright, warm, buzzing. And say softly in your mind, I am energy. I am vibration. I choose to rise. Feel the shift, even if it's very subtle. And whenever you feel low, you know how to consciously raise your vibration now, right? Just sit tall, inhale all the light and all the brightness around you, warmth around you, and just tell yourself that I am pure energy and I am that vibration, and I choose to rise my frequency. I choose to raise my frequency and vibration. And just notice how wonderful that shift is. Okay, now we move on to the fourth principle of polarity. Everything is dual, everything has poles. Yeah, what does that mean? Everything has its pair of opposites. Opposites are different degrees of the same thing, and everything contains dual aspects. In another video earlier, I had posted about this, this polarity, right? So opposites are just different degrees of the same thing. Love and hate, light and dark, they exist on the same spectrum. It's pure physics, right? So, example, hot and cold, they're not different in essence, but are the extremes of the same temperature spectrum. Let's see love and hate. Emotions often exist on the same continuum, and one can transform into the other with a shift in perspective or circumstances. So, love, hate, peace, chaos, joy, sorrow, they're all different degrees of the same essence. Yeah, you're now annoyed with someone, but beneath that, maybe it's hurt or care. When you realize anger and compassion are on the same pole, you shift. You can slide up and down the pole with awareness. Feel into love even when it's hard. You may feel overwhelmed, but within that energy is power waiting to be redirected. Yeah, the coldest day and the warmest both belong to the same thermometer. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, so let's now reflect on your inner balance and do a little bit of a practice, a sneak peek. So think of a strong emotion you felt recently. I just did. I just felt a lot of anger. Ask yourself, what's the other side of that feeling that you recently felt? If you've been angry, maybe underneath is a longing to be heard. If you have felt stuck, perhaps there is a deep desire to grow. Breathe gently and whisper, I see the whole spectrum. I choose where I stand. Now let that polarity become your power. That's how, friends, you can, bring in that inner balance with just that awareness by asking yourself, what's the other side of this feeling? Okay, so with that, let's go to the fifth principle, which is a principle of rhythm. Everything flows out and in, everything has its tides, and all things rise and fall. That's what it means. Okay, this principle describes the cyclical nature of life where everything has a rhythm or a pattern of movement. Life moves in cycles, highs and lows are natural. Life dances to a rhythm, isn't it? Your energy, emotions, creativity, and even rest moves in cycles. We suffer when we resist the ebb, but peace comes when we honor it. Now, let me give you some examples. Nature, you have seen cycles, seasons cycle through spring, summer, autumn, and winter. In personal lives, all of us, we have our periods of successes, challenges often follow, and then vice versa, creating an ebb and flow in life experiences. And if you have ever pushed through exhaustion or tried to stay up all the time, the crash that follows. Even in stock market that happens. Companies thrive and then sometimes they just hit the lowest bottom. So, but if you flow within your rhythm, rest when needed, act when aligned, your surf life instead of sinking in it, right? You can easily surf your life instead of sinking in your life. That's what's more important. Some mornings you're on fire, others you just want to hide in your blanket, right? So instead of resisting, ride the wave. That's a secret. Honor your flow, energy, mood, focus. They're all ebb and return. Don't panic when you're on low, when you're feeling low. It's just a downswing before the rise. You know that. Okay, let's do a quick rhythm check in now. Place both your hands over your heart, close your eyes, feel your heartbeat. Am I in a season of flow or rest? What does my rhythm ask of me today? Honor that wisdom and say gently, I trust my rhythm, I ride the wave. Yeah, isn't that beautiful? Okay, let's go to the next principle, last but one, which is the principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect, every effect has its cause. Now, nothing happens by chance, right? Every action has a reaction or consequence. That's what we have learned in physics. Nothing happens randomly. Every action creates a ripple. There are no coincidences. Everything you do, every choice, every intention sends ripples into the field of life or into this quantum field. Let me give some examples. A very popular one, is these days in the spiritual community is karma. Act of kindness often return as positive experiences, while harmful actions may result in challenges. And think about a time when a small kind action, like a thank you note or a hug, brightens someone's whole day, or how a careless word can change the tone of an entire conversation. And there are scientific principles too. A ball thrown into the air, which is the cause, will fall back due to the gravity, which is the effect. And that's plain simple cause and effect. You snap at your partner and now there is a weird tension. Yep, there's cause and effect, right? But it works the other way too. You send a kind message to a friend and suddenly your own day feels very lighter. Be the cause of the vibe you want to live in. So let's do an intention activation now. Close your eyes. Ask, what kind of effect do I want to create today? What's one small cause I can plant with love? And breathe into it. Let your next action carry that sacred intention. Ask always, what kind of effect do I want to create today? And what's that one small cause I can plant with love? Okay, now we go to the seventh principle, which is the principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Now, this principle refers to the dual creative forces present in all aspects of life, not necessarily physical gender, but the metaphysical energies of masculinity and femininity. That's what we are talking about. Now, we all carry both active, which is masculine, and receptive, which is feminine energies. Okay, so active is masculine energy, receptive is feminine energy, and we all carry both, regardless of our gender. We are not talking about biology here, but energies. I hope you understood that. The masculine is action, direction, focus. The feminine energy is all about intuition, receptivity, creativity, and you carry both. What are some examples that I can think of? Creativity. Masculine energy drives action, initiative, while feminine energy nurtures and gives forms to ideas, which is why, mothers are always, associated with nurturing, and fathers are associated with, bringing food on the table, driving action, etc. Now look at nature. Trees grow, that is masculine energy, and bear fruit, which is feminine energy, showcasing this balance of creation. When you brainstorm ideas, that's feminine energy, which is creative and expansive. Then you plan and execute your idea, that's masculine, very focused and structured, right? So a balanced day flows between both. Too much of doing, then you burn out. Too much of dreaming, then you drift. So balance is the magic. Okay, let's quickly do a balanced meditation. Our final one. Sit comfortably. Visualize two lights within you. One golden, one silver blue, feminine. The golden masculine flame, beautiful. And then another one is a silver blue, shiny, feminine light. Breathe in and imagine these lights intertwining in harmony, just like how you would have seen two snakes intertwining. Yeah, like your two nerves, Ida and Pingla, intertwining, which balances your masculine and feminine energy in your body. Imagine these golden masculine flame and the silver blue flame, these lights intertwining in absolute harmony within you. And say softly to yourself, I honor the balance within me. I lead and I flow. I create and I act. Let this balance guide you today. Okay, so there you have it, the seven Hermetic principles. To conclude, ancient wisdom, that's not just philosophical stuff. These are deeply, deeply practical. These principles aren't just concepts, they are living truths. The more we recognize them at play in our lives, the more gracefully we begin to live. You don't have to memorize or master them. Just notice them, feel into them, and invite them in when life feels a little too loud. Okay, so next time life feels chaotic or confusing, remember your thoughts matter. Your inner world shapes the outer. Everything vibrates. Opposites are friends in disguise. Life moves in rhythms. Every action counts, and balance is divine. And if this sparked something in you, share it with a friend, or better yet, start noticing which principle shows up in your everyday. Until next time, breathe gently, live softly, and stay open to the wisdom within and all around you. Thank you, dear friends.